Welcome back. Well, it may not capture global attention like the Tour de France, but cycling has a new event, the Tour de Congo. Around 60 cyclists are battling their way through the almost 600-mile-long course over 9 stages through the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and what is the country's biggest sporting event since Muhammad Ali beat George Foreman in the 1974 Rumble in the Jungle. The tour has been made possible by government funding and is being filmed by a media company using drones. Friday's third stage was taken out by Frenchman Médéric Len, who followed up second place in the opening stage with a win on Thursday as well. The event's scheduled to finish on June 30th, the country's Independence Day.
There was really the party. There was really when you arrived in Kinshasa. Many people, really great wide roads, beautiful roads, and the police really work really well to secure the event.
South African cricket captain A.B. de Villiers claims his team didn't choke at the Champions Trophy, rather they just weren't good enough. The Proteas were knocked out at the semi-final stage of the competition, and de Villiers feels they just couldn't cope with the pressure.
Returning to an underwhelming welcome home. There was very little fanfare for the South Africa cricket captain A.B. de Villiers on his arrival in Johannesburg. Knocked out in the semi-finals of the Champions Trophy, the South Africa team has once again failed to deliver on the big stage. And their toxic label of chokers remains.
You've got to get yourself into a winning position before you can choke. We were unfortunately not in that kind of position on Wednesday at all. But in a way, in that morning, like I said now, the pressure just got to us a bit. Poor shot selections are normally an indication of guys feeling the pressure. And that's exactly what happened. We collapsed as a top order and put the rest of the guys under pressure. Like I said, I had full confidence that we could win the tournament, but we didn't. And maybe it's not as good as we think we are.
For one reason or another, the Proteas were without Graham Smith, Jacques Kallis, Del Steyn and Morné Morkel. The team they put out against England, even by the Proteas' own admission, just wasn't good enough.
If we put our side up against the sides that are maybe in the final or sides that have been knocked out or whatever, and I'm not being nasty when I say this, but we're probably not the strongest side of that competition, and in all likeness aren't deserved winners of that competition. If we look at player statistics, if you look at the team's consistency or lack of consistency over the last year or so, we probably don't deserve to be winners of a competition like the Champions Trophy.
Questions will now need to be answered ahead of the World Cup in 2015. Why so many injuries? Where is the depth? Why can't this team cope with pressure? Well, for the Proteas, they need to regroup and quickly. They fly out to Sri Lanka in just a few weeks' time, and they're under a new coach in Russell Domingo.
No two coaches can be the same. The way I address a team will be totally different to the way Gary addresses the team. The limitations Gary puts in players or limitations I might not put on players, or I might put limitations in players that he hasn't put on players. There will be some differences. So there won't be wholesale changes, but there's obviously going to be things done a little bit differently in the next couple of months, in the next couple of years.
In the meantime, the team can reflect on where it all went wrong. They know that choker tag will hang over them for some time yet. Dan Williams, CCTV News in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Just days to go to the Rugby Sevens World Cup. Zimbabwe's team, the Cheetahs, are stepping up the preparations. They've gone into intensive training ahead of their departure for Russia on Sunday. CCTV's Varane Wakatuya caught up with them in Harare and has filed this report.
Morale is high as the Cheetahs prepare for their 4th World Cup tournament. They're in a tough group, Pool C, against the Philippines, Samoa and their fiercest rivals, Kenya. But the Cheetahs are confident they can go through.
Yeah, we've got a good pool draw. So Kenya we've beaten before, Samoa we've come close to. So hoping to do well against those two big teams. Kenya have been playing well on the circuit, so everyone's up for it in the World Cup. So hopefully we'll be up there as well.
In the 2009 World Cup, Zimbabwe won the bowl.
The final touch is being put to this Cheetahs side before they depart for the World Cup, where they hope to bounce back and redeem themselves after their disappointing outing in London.
That was last month, and Russia beat them 26 points to 7. In days ahead, the Cheetahs want to prove they have recovered and can put on a display of winning rugby. Varane Wakatuya, CCTV, Harare, Zimbabwe.
Well, that's all from us for this edition of Africa Live. I'm Famida Miller. Thanks for watching.